Kenzie and Sincere are quite similar. The only difference is Kenzie is the only one who's being held accountable right now in the correct way. Another episode of everyone seemingly forgetting that Sincere has done anything wrong. And I do understand why Kenzie is kind of confused as to why people keep bringing up her past and she feels like she can't get through it because it's not really a theme in the villa for people to bring up what they've done in the past. It seems like they have one big blow up about it and then everyone moves on, especially the girls. And you can even see it when the girls are commenting on the last conversation between Kenzie and Dylan. Like Kada, Trinity, they're like, move on. Why are they having the same conversation? When it's like, Dylan is very valid in having this conversation with her and very valid in bringing up all of these concerns. Especially when Kenzie continues to give him, well, I don't know what to do with that. If you don't trust me, that's your problem. It's not mine. Like she has moments of understanding where he's coming from and being like, yeah, I can understand why that hurt and all this stuff. But then it's clear she really wants to move on from it. And she wants to kind of shift the blame back onto him. And now it's his fault for thinking about it so much. And it's not her fault for doing any of it. Even though this episode, he literally was blatantly lied to and he knew it. And one of the main reasons I feel like she is really similar to Sincere is I think they honestly believe their lies a lot of the time. And that's why it is so baffling and so confusing when someone brings up the fact that they're lying. And that's why they start floundering and they feel like they need to either shift the blame or take very quick accountability, but then try to get everyone to move on. And Sincere has somehow been successful at that. It appears that after the one date he set up for Melanie, which was a copy of the date that Corey set up for her, he has now felt like he's done enough and he's good, especially considering they've now done the most intimate thing they've ever done together, which was do karaoke, a challenge that was set up by the producers. And then he's having the conversation on the dock with Melanie, who I can tell she is still having these concerns, even though they're getting farther in the back of her head because people in the villa keep gaslighting her to drop the concerns. He says to Melanie, I really did hurt somebody that I care a lot about, while smiling. And I understand it was the dynamic of the conversation. They were both smiling. It might have been a moment about them thinking about something else or just being happy they were looking into each other's eyes. But that is sinister. Saying those words while smiling is sinister. And what else is sinister is Zach suddenly wanting to close off after the votes, but specifically not wanting to be boyfriend or girlfriend. He really doesn't want that label. And all that says to me is that this decision about closing off is just reactionary to the votes and is not really about his own feelings. Because why do you want to close off with her, but specifically don't want to be boyfriend or girlfriend, but all of this just happened now? And you can tell Kada is still not feeling secure in the relationship. She's in her confessional saying, we're compatible to us, trying to convince us. You don't have to convince us if you are. If you really believe that. I really think it's become clear that all the people in the villa are just in it to get to the finale now. They know they don't have much time left, and so they're just all deciding to put up with things that they wouldn't normally put up with because they just want to get to the end, and they're trying to convince each other to do the same. We see it with everyone being mad at Dylan for the conversation with Kenzie, which Dylan handled that very well, might I add. We see it with Melanie and Sincere, and now we see it with Zach and Kada too. So many of these couples are having issues, but they're desperately trying to push them down in order to pretend that they're happy so they can get to the finale. But the winner is Bryce and Trinity, and the book is closed at this point. So what are we doing? I don't know how they can turn this season around in the next few episodes, but I just hope something happens.